Welcome to Mr. Screen. The Mad Titan has made several appearances in Marvel Comics, mainly in the saga to find the Infinity Stones. However, here I will bring up a much more advanced point, with Thanos without them, and even more so when he encounters Tony Stark again, but as the new Doctor Doom. Without further ado, let's get straight to the point. The rebirth of Tony Stark. After the defeat of Thanos and the restoration of the universe, Tony Stark was celebrated as a hero, the man who sacrificed everything to save the world. But the peace he brought was short-lived. In the vast fabric of the multiverse, a collapse began to emerge. Entire realities began to fragment, and no one knew exactly why. What few understood was that, even after death, Stark continued to live on in a darker, different, and corrupted form. Stark's death had broken the barriers between universes, and in a distant corner of the multiverse, Victor Von Doom found a unique opportunity. A master of science and the mystic arts, Doom used his knowledge to track down Stark's soul in the afterlife and resurrect him. However, Doom did not bring Tony back out of benevolence. He knew that together they could control all timelines. Doom, however, underestimated Stark. After being resurrected and forced to merge his mind with Doom's, Tony began to dominate the villain's consciousness, slowly taking control of the fusion. Eventually, Doom was no longer a separate entity. He became part of Stark. Now, Tony Stark was Doom, but not the Doom the world knew. He had evolved, and with Doom's power combined with his unparalleled intellect, he now held the multiverse in his hands. He called himself Dr. Doom Stark. Doom Stark's plan. With Doom's mastery of the most advanced technologies and the mystical power that Doom possessed, Doom Stark no longer needed to simply protect the world. He now controlled an intricate web of realities, and with him, he began to shape the multiverse according to his own vision. His goal was simple: eliminate the Avengers and every hero in every timeline, every version of every universe to ensure his supremacy. He knew that as long as any version of any hero existed, they would always pose a threat to his power. But Stark needed something more: an army. So he set his sights on an old adversary, the one who defied the laws of the universe and nearly destroyed Earth. He decided to bring back Thanos, the Mad Titan. Not with the Infinity Gauntlet or the gems, but as his personal servant, a warrior without cosmic powers but with a ruthless mind and the ability to devastate civilizations. Doom Stark believed he could control Thanos, just as he had controlled Doom. He opened a rift in time and space, accessing the exact spot where Thanos was disintegrated by Stark's snap. Using his technology combined with magic, Doom Stark pulled Thanos back to the world of the living. Thanos reappeared, his monumental body ablaze as he emerged from the dimensional rift, but without the gauntlet or any of his Infinity Stones. He was bewildered, but not weakened. As he opened his eyes, his deep voice echoed, "Why am I here, Stark?" Doom Stark, clad in armor that combined Doom's style with Stark's technology, floated down from a platform in the air. His gaze was cold and calculating. "I brought you back, Thanos, because I need you. Together, we can eliminate any vestige of resistance in the multiverse. You will be my servant, and together we will destroy the Avengers, every version of them, in every reality." Thanos looked at Stark with disdain. He had seen death, felt the void beyond life, and to his surprise, while he was dead, he found something he had never known in life: peace. "I was dead, Stark," Thanos said, his voice heavy with a lifetime of war. "And while I was dead, I was finally at peace. I will not return to being the warrior you desire." Doom Stark bristled. He had believed that without his godlike powers, Thanos would be easy to manipulate, but he had underestimated the Titan's willpower. The Mad Titan, even without the gauntlet, remained a formidable force. He refused to revert to his destructive nature. That was not in Stark's plans. "You have no choice, Thanos," Doom Stark said. "I brought you back to life. Your existence now belongs to me." Thanos did not answer. He braced himself for battle, even without the stones, his gigantic fists clenching, ready to challenge Stark. The chains of fate. Doom Stark, now filled with rage, raised his hand. With one smooth motion, he conjured a series of mystical chains that emerged from the ground like metallic serpents, ensnaring Thanos before he could react. The chains glowed purple and green, wreathed in runes that pulsed with an ancient, incomprehensible energy. These were no ordinary chains. They were the chains of fate, a mystical artifact drawn from the depths of the most ancient realities. They bound not only Thanos' body, but his very essence. He could not escape. What is this? Thanos grunted as he tried to free himself, but each attempt only weakened him further. He felt his strength waning as the chains tightened around his being. These are the chains of fate, Doomstark explained. They are forged for the purpose of binding entities such as yourself. With them, I can't control you, or leave you here for all eternity. I do not need a rebellious servant, Thanos. I need someone who understands the true power I hold. Doomstark then lifted the chains and, with a flick, threw them into a portal. Thanos was pulled into a different dimension, a place where the rules of time and space made no sense. It was a prison built to contain those who would try to rebel against the new ruler of the multiverse. Thanos was thrown into a dark cell, his chains still squeezing his soul, rendering him powerless. Around him, reality was chaotic, fragmented. This was the multiverse of the chains of fate, a liminal space between dimensions where trapped souls had no control over time or space. Doomstark watched for a moment, satisfied with his work. You will remain here, Thanos, until you learn your place. Without another word, Doomstark closed the portal, leaving Thanos in his dimensional prison. To the new ruler of the multiverse, this was not a defeat. It was merely a correction on the path to his ultimate victory. The Avengers of the multiverse. As Doomstark continued his plan to eliminate the heroes of every reality, the Avengers began to realize that a new threat was at play. Across the timelines, heroes began to mysteriously disappear. Entire realities were being consumed, and those who managed to escape had only one word to describe the person responsible: Doom. Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, had assembled a small force of surviving Avengers. With him were Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and an alternate version of Natasha Romanoff. They knew that to stop Doomstark, they would need more than just brute force. They needed to understand what they were up against. He has control of the multiverse, Doctor Strange explained. And he has Thanos, or did. If Doomstark is really bringing Thanos back, things could get worse very quickly. Peter Parker, still processing everything that was happening, asked, "But why bring Thanos back? He almost destroyed everything." Doomstark is smart, but this seems like a mistake. Strange shook his head. Tony Stark doesn't make mistakes. He wants to use Thanos for something bigger. If Thanos is being brought back as a servant, it means Doom has a plan that goes beyond just destroying universes. The Avengers' only hope was to find a way to access the Chains of Fate multiverse and rescue Thanos before Doomstark could bend the Titan to his will. The journey to the Chains of Fate, the Avengers discovered that in order to access the Chains of Fate multiverse, they would need a mystical artifact capable of breaking the barriers of the interconnected realities. This artifact was hidden deep within the Dark Realm, an inhospitable place where few dared to tread. Together, Sam, Peter, Natasha, and Doctor Strange set out on a perilous journey, traversing chaotic dimensions and facing realities corrupted by the power of Doomstark. Each battle was more difficult than the last, and the emotional toll of fighting twisted versions of their friends and allies weighed heavily upon them. As they continued on, Sam questioned the cost of all this. "How many more of these versions of us will we see die?" he asked, looking at the corpses of alternate versions of the Avengers they encountered along the way. Doctor Strange somberly replied, "If we fail, every version of us will die." After a brutal and nearly hopeless journey, they finally found the artifact, only to discover that it was guarded by an entity called the Doomwatch, a being who would not allow intervention in the fabric of time without a price. "You seek to break the chains of fate," said the Watcher, hovering above them. "But these chains maintain the balance of the multiverse. To tamper with them is to tamper with fate itself. Are you prepared to pay the price?" Without hesitation, Sam replied, "If this is what it takes to stop Doomstark, we are willing to pay any price." With a nod, the Watcher allowed them to take the artifact. But he warned, "Remember, the price of fate will always be exacted. The liberation of Thanos." Now with the artifact in hand, the Avengers prepared to confront Doomstark and rescue Thanos. They opened a portal to the multiverse of the Chains of Fate, where Thanos remained trapped, weakened but not defeated. As they entered the chaotic multiverse, they found Thanos trapped in his cell, the chains glowing around him. The Titan looked at them suspiciously. "Have you come to free me?" Thanos asked, his voice thick with surprise. Sam nodded. "We need your help to stop Doomstark. He's destroying everything. The entire multiverse is in danger." Thanos laughed, a deep rumble that echoed through the dimension. "You're fools. Doomstark has already won. Doctor Strange looked at him, his eyes full of determination. Not yet. With the artifact, they broke the chains and freed Thanos. He fell to his knees, exhausted but free. Even weakened, his presence was imposing. You have a choice now, Thanos, Sam said. You can help us stop Doom Stark and save the multiverse, or you can return to your eternal peace. Thanos looked at the heroes before him, considering the peace he had longed for and the chaos he had wrought in life. Finally, he stood, his eyes shining with his old determination. I will help you, Captain, he replied, but not for you. I do it for me. The peace I desire will never come as long as Doom Stark exists. The final battle. With Thanos now at the Avengers' side, they prepared for the final battle against Doom Stark. They knew that, even with their combined strength, the fight would be one of the most difficult they had ever faced. The fate of all realities depended on them. Doom Stark, now at the height of his power, watched from his multiversal throne, aware that his enemies were closing in. He knew it would only be a matter of time before they made their final move. But what Doom Stark didn't know was that, even with all his power, fate has its own chains, and not even he could completely control them. The battle for the multiverse was about to begin, and this time alongside an unusual presence. The vastness of space seemed endless, cold, and silent. But for Thanos, now imprisoned in the celestial prison, the silence was a relief. He, the Mad Titan, once the most feared being in the universe, had been held captive for a long time, his plans destroyed, his mission failed. The Infinity Stones were gone, and the balance he so longed for would never be achieved. Worse than his defeat was witnessing the birth of an even more terrible enemy, Tony Stark, now transformed into the ultimate villain, Doctor Doom. Stark, in an alternate timeline, had corrupted everything Thanos considered inevitable, taking unimaginable power for himself. A prisoner of cosmic forces, Thanos contemplated his existence with a mixture of resignation and fury. The stars twinkled on the horizon like distant memories of a past life. He had failed, and the universe would suffer the consequences. The chaos of Doom. Thanos remembered everything. He had seen Stark, the man once known as Iron Man, succumb to his ambition. Doom, in his arrogance, was not content with defeating the Avengers, or even defeating Thanos. He sought more. Much more. After subduing the Titan and the multiverse, Doom imprisoned Thanos in the Celestial Prison, a place designed to imprison cosmic beings with enough power to threaten the universal order. There, Thanos was a mere shadow of his former self, stripped of his power, stripped of his gems. Yet during his long imprisonment, Thanos began to realize that Doctor Doom's true purpose was not merely to conquer realities. He had visions, scattered fragments of time and space that intermingled with his thoughts. And in each of these visions, he saw Doom approaching an even more ambitious goal. Doom desired something beyond total control over the multiverse. He wanted to consume all of Galactus's power, the devourer of worlds, and become a supreme deity. If he did so, not just one but all timelines, all realities would be destroyed. Thanos knew he had to act. He knew there was one being who could guide him to Galactus, the Silver Surfer, Galactus's ancient herald. He had to find a surfer before Doom did. The breakthrough. As Thanos planned his escape from the celestial prison, a familiar presence disturbed the fabric of reality around him. A portal opened, and out stepped Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, his cape flowing and his gaze filled with determination. Thanos, Strange said, his voice firm, "We need your help." The Mad Titan laughed, a husky, dark sound. Thanos help. What do the heroes need now? Haven't they destroyed enough? Doctor Strange remained calm. You know that Doctor Doom is becoming a greater threat than any of us could have anticipated. He is accumulating cosmic power at an alarming rate. He wants the power of Galactus, and if he gets it, the multiverse will be annihilated. Thanos remained silent for a moment, his eyes fixed on the sorcerer. He had foreseen this. Doom was not interested in ruling. He wanted to consume, to devour everything. The Titan knew he could not allow that to happen. Even if he did not share the hero's ideals, the complete destruction of all that exists was not something he desired. "Release me," Thanos ordered, "and I will not interfere. But I am not here to ally myself with you, Avengers. My mission is different now." Doctor Strange hesitated, knowing that freeing Thanos would mean releasing an old enemy. But he had no choice. Strange gestured with his hands, conjuring a series of intricate incantations. The chains of energy that held Thanos captive began to unravel, one by one. You have a vision, don't you? Strange said. You know what is coming. Thanos nodded as he stood, his muscles tense from years of inactivity. I have seen what Doom intends to do, and I will not allow it. I will seek out the Silver Surfer, and he will lead me to Galactus. Doctor Strange stared at the Titan. And what will you do then? That sorcerer, Thanos replied with a grim smile, is not for you to know. The search for the Silver Surfer. Thanos, now free from his prison, traveled the cosmos, moving through wormholes and dimensional portals, always guided by his vision of the future. He knew that time was running out. Doom was getting closer and closer to Galactus, and once he obtained the power of the Devourer of Worlds, there would be no turning back. The Titan headed toward a distant galaxy, where legend said the Silver Surfer hid, far from the intrigues of the universe. He no longer served Galactus, but his connection to the Devourer was unbreakable. Thanos knew that if anyone could lead him to Galactus, it would be the Surfer. Arriving at a desolate planet on the edge of the galaxy, Thanos descended onto the barren ground. In the distance, a silvery figure gleamed in the dim light of a dying sun. Surfer, Thanos shouted, his voice echoing across the plains. The floating figure slowly turned. The Silver Surfer, once the herald of Galactus, faced Thanos with a calm but firm expression. What do you want, Thanos? The Surfer asked, his voice echoing with the weight of eons. I need your help to find Galactus, Thanos replied. Dr. Doom is hunting him, and if he succeeds in stealing his power, the entire multiverse will be destroyed. The Surfer was silent for a moment, pondering the Titan's words. And why should I help you, the man who has brought so much suffering to the cosmos? Thanos stepped forward. I am not here to save the universe, Surfer. Do not misunderstand me. My quest is not for redemption. But if Doom gains Galactus' power, there will be nothing left. Not for me, not for you. The Surfer considered the Titan's words. Though he was suspicious of his intentions, he knew Thanos was not lying. Doom was a real threat, and Galactus' power in the wrong hands could mean the end of everything. I will take you to Galactus, the Surfer said finally. But don't think for a second that I trust you, Thanos. Thanos smiled, satisfied. Trust was never something I wanted, Surfer. Just do your part. Encountering Galactus. Together, Thanos and the Silver Surfer traversed galaxies, dimensions, and dead worlds until they finally reached the abode of Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. Galactus, a being of incomprehensible proportions, stood at the center of an abandoned galaxy, his body enveloped in cosmic energy as he absorbed the essence of a dead planet. The Devourer of Worlds sensed the approach of his visitors and slowly turned, his presence dominating the space around him. Thanos, the Mad Titan, Galactus' voice boomed. Why dare you approach me once more? Thanos stepped forward, unafraid. I have not come to fight Galactus. I have come to warn you. Dr. Doom seeks your power. He plans to consume it and destroy the multiverse with it. Galactus was silent for a moment, his cosmic mind weighing Thanos' words. He knew Doom, knew his insatiable ambition. Even for an entity like Galactus, the idea of a mortal being possessing his power was troubling. If Doom has his way, Thanos continued, everything will be destroyed. No universe will be spared. Not even you. Galactus fixed his glowing eyes on Thanos. And what do you propose, Titan? Thanos looked at Galactus, knowing he was facing a primordial force. I propose that we unite, temporarily. Together, we can stop Doom before he reaches you. Galactus laughed, a sound that reverberated through the cosmos. You, the Mad Titan, ask for an alliance? What strange times these are. Thanos did not back down. I do not ask for an alliance. I ask only that you recognize that if Doom wins, even the Devourer of Worlds will fall. Galactus' silence lasted only a moment before he replied, I will accept your proposal, Thanos. But know that once Doom is defeated, our truce will end. Thanos nodded. So be it. Together, Thanos, the Silver Surfer, and Galactus now had a clear goal, to stop Doom before he destroyed all of reality. But Thanos knew that the battle that lay ahead would be unlike any he had ever faced. And deep down, he knew that his own intentions were not as noble as they appeared. As the vastness of the cosmos continued to envelop the trio, the Silver Surfer silently observed the alliance form between Thanos and Galactus. Something deep within him stirred, an uneasiness he could no longer ignore. While he knew that Dr. Doom posed a colossal threat, He also understood what it meant to join forces with Thanos, the Mad Titan, and Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. It was an undeniable danger. Thanos, with his twisted vision of balance, and Galactus, who devoured planets without remorse, formed an alliance that could be as catastrophic as Doom's threat. The Surfer, once a herald of Galactus, knew of his former master's limitless power. But now, alongside Thanos, the combination was something that made him uneasy. He had seen enough of the destruction wrought by Thanos, and now with Galactus as his temporary ally, the Surfer began to doubt the motivations behind this union. The Surfer's restlessness. As they traveled through space, searching for Dr. Doom's next move, the Surfer was deep in thought. Deep down, he knew that Doom was an unparalleled threat, but he also realized that if Thanos and Galactus truly teamed up, the results would be equally catastrophic. What was to guarantee that, after Doom's defeat, Thanos wouldn't use Galactus as a weapon of mass destruction? Thanos, the Surfer said, breaking the silence. "Why should we trust you?" Thanos turned his head, his expression calm and unperturbed. "I told you, Surfer. I'm not interested in saving the universe. But if Doom gains Galactus' power, everything we know will cease to exist. I'm no fool." The Surfer remained silent for a few moments before answering. "And then what will you do when Doom is defeated? Will you use Galactus to satisfy your desires? Will you create a new empire, ruled by chaos and death?" The Mad Titan raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the Surfer's words. "My goal is to bring balance, Surfer. Something you, with all your morality, would never understand. I did what needed to be done once, and if necessary, I will do it again. But don't worry. I do not intend to continue this alliance forever." Thanos' words did not reassure the Surfer. If anything, they increased his suspicions. He knew that, like Doom, Thanos had a distorted view of what was necessary. Galactus himself, a force of nature, could not be controlled. The Surfer had already witnessed the destruction Galactus had caused. Billions of lives snuffed out without a second thought. The Silver Surfer's betrayal, the Silver Surfer's reflections turned to conviction. There was no way he could allow Thanos and Galactus to remain together, even if it meant going against his instincts. He flew ahead of Thanos and Galactus, guiding the way for Doom's next move. But his heart was heavy with the decision he knew he would have to make. Finally, in a secluded spot in space where the fabric of reality seemed thinner and the silence was almost deafening, the Surfer made his move. "I cannot allow this," he muttered to himself, before suddenly turning, firing a beam of cosmic energy directly at Thanos. The attack was unexpected, even for Thanos. The blast of energy knocked him back, his eyes narrowing in surprise. "Surfer," he growled, anger beginning to take hold. "What are you doing?" Galactus, for his part, watched the situation with cold calm, intrigued by his former herald's betrayal, but he did not immediately intervene. He knew the Silver Surfer was a creature of morality, and his hesitation to trust Thanos was not surprising. "What I am doing," the Surfer replied firmly, "is stopping two of the greatest monsters in the universe from uniting to destroy all that remains." Thanos wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, slowly rising to his feet, his gaze fierce. "You are making a mistake, Surfer." But the Silver Surfer did not hesitate. He attacked again, this time targeting both Thanos and Galactus. Cosmic rays tore the space between them, a battle of epic proportions about to unfold. The stealing of the board Thanos, even without the Infinity Stones, was still a cunning and powerful warrior. He knew that the Silver Surfer depended on his silver board, the source of his power and mobility. As the Surfer launched more attacks, Thanos quickly formed a plan in his mind. Biding his moment, he dodged an attack and, with his immense speed and strength, grabbed the silver board, separating it from the Surfer in one swift, brutal blow. The Surfer, now separated from his board, had lost much of his mobility and power. He floated helplessly as Thanos climbed onto the board, controlling it with his will. He sneered. "You are weaker than I thought, Surfer." Galactus, who had remained an observer until then, finally decided to intervene. He raised his hand, creating a barrier of energy around Thanos. "This betrayal is not what I expected, Thanos. You are becoming as unpredictable as Doom." Thanos laughed, but was now trapped in Galactus's energy barrier. "Unpredictable, perhaps. But you know as well as I do that I am not wrong." Thanos' escape. Thanos, realizing that the situation was getting complicated, decided that this was not the time for a final battle with the Surfer or Galactus. He needed to find another way out. Using his intelligence and temporary connection to the board, He manipulated the silver board's energy to break through Galactus' barrier. The process was grueling, but Thanos managed to open a dimensional rift. With one last look at Galactus and a now weakened Silver Surfer, Thanos flew into the rift, disappearing from the battlefield. Now, isolated in some remote corner of the multiverse, Thanos was alone again. He had fled, but the peace he so desired seemed even more distant. He knew that both Doom and Galactus remained threats, but now he too was branded a traitor by all sides. The Mad Titan floated in the void, directionless, with no clear purpose. For the first time in a long time, he did not know what his next move would be. The stars around him offered no answers, only the same endless silence. He had lost control over the events he himself had helped to set in motion. Dr. Doom was still at large, plotting something much greater. Galactus continued to consume worlds, and now the Silver Surfer considered him a mortal enemy. Thanos, the once unbeatable, now wandered alone in the multiverse, unsure of how he could find the peace he so desired. All that was left was chaos, and for the first time, he was unsure of how he could control it. So these are our theoretical points. What do you think of all this? What could the Thanos of this new timeline do? Don't forget to leave a comment with your opinion, click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I'm Mr. Screen and see you soon. Bye.